Oh my God, I am heartily sorry for having offended thee, and I detest all my sins, blah, blah, blah. I firmly resolve, with the help of thy grace, that I will not sin anymore, that I will do penance, and that I will amend my life. Amen. Boy, there sure is an awful lot of me in that prayer that we learned. Yes, Lord. Pay attention to what the tax collector said. Somebody let him in, please. Thank you. The tax collector's prayer. Oh God, be merciful to me, a sinner. My goodness, directing it at God, making it about God, focusing on God's mercy, my need for that mercy. I would say to you that short passage, especially because it's from the gospel, especially because it's from the mouth of Jesus, is a wonderful act of contrition. It really is. We don't need all of this focusing on ourselves and, Lord, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm so bad, and through my fault, beat myself. Our focus is on God. God's mercy. God's forgiveness, God's healing. And we forget that. All right. That's the end of my commercial for a new act of contrition. Who am I better than? That's just a general question. I'm not asking you to tell me who I'm better than, because you guys would be quiet just as you are now. Thank you. Don't we all do that? I mean, the Pharisee in Jesus' story. I thank you that I am better than everyone else. Everybody else is so greedy or dishonest or adulterous. Not me. You even have tax collectors. Well, I'm better than them. I do all kinds of religious things. I keep the law. Don't you love me, Lord? I sure love myself. Why do we feel the need to compare ourselves, to label others, to say that the only way that I can really affirm my own goodness is if I get into competition with others, and I can say, I'm better than you because of this. I'm better than you because of that. We do that. We judge, we label, we categorize, we stereotype. And when we do that with individuals or with groups, it's like we're saying, okay, I've got it all figured out. I know exactly who you are. You are, according to the labels that I have placed on you. It doesn't matter who you really might be. I know. And I don't have to think about you anymore except in this category. We label. In doing so, we judge. Sometimes we think, well, but isn't it okay to label if it's a good label? To look at somebody and say, ooh, they're so holy. How do we know? What are the criteria that we're using? This person, ooh, is holy because they're churchy. That person doesn't go to church enough. That person doesn't live the right kind of life. That one, holy. Got to be careful with our labels because, like the Pharisee, we don't know. Once upon a time, not so very long ago, there was a Mrs. Church in Our Lady of Mercy parish. Mrs. Church seemed to do everything and be everywhere. At one time or the other, and often simultaneously, she was head of the Altar Society, a Eucharistic minister, lunch mother, playground guard, president of the parish council, minister of care, representative to the diocesan council, and close friend and confidant of the pastor. Mrs. Church's neighbor was a divorced mother of 3 who worked full-time and always declined Mrs. Church's invitations to participate in parish activities, saying she just didn't have the time. After noticing that her neighbor appeared to be dating, Mrs. Church mentioned, in confidence, to the pastor that though she knew the church allowed divorced and unremarried Catholics to participate in the Eucharist, she wondered if it was a good example to young people to include those who were in a public relationship. Later, the pastor announced that in honor of the 50th anniversary of the parish council had established an annual Our Lady of Mercy Award to be given to a person who demonstrated qualities of the parish patroness. Everyone, including Mrs. Church herself, expected her to be the first recipient. A special review committee was established to consider those who were nominated for the award. Imagine Mrs. Church's surprise when her neighbor was chosen for the honor, for her work in establishing a community program for battered women and children. Getting this program off the ground had been the reason she hadn't time for Mrs. Church's programs. There's holy, and then there's holy. God knows. We don't always. We put on our labels. We set up our categories. We miss out. Because there are a lot of people that we're cutting off from ourselves the opportunity to be inspired, to learn, to grow. Lord, I thank you that I am not like the rest of humanity. That can be kind of too bad if we're convinced of that. Humanity has some amazing holiness to it.